This is my bear. And he's my favorite bear in the whole world. He's my teddy bear. I worry about this guy. For the last few weeks, Bear hasn't wanted to come and get in the truck. He just wants to lay on the bed at home. And I keep telling him that he has to come out and stretch his footsies, because if the bear doesn't come and stretch his footsies, then pretty soon his footsies aren't going to work. I think the bear knows what I'm saying. So it's nice that my bears come outside. Yeah. It's my best friend in the world. Got Sam when he was about 11 months old or 12 months old from the animal hospital down the road where my buddy by the side where Rick lives. And they were going to put him down at noon the day they called. And I was getting ready to head off to the ferry. About one more minute and I would have already been gone, and teddy bears would have been history in this world. So I got to save his bacon and take him as my pup. He'd already been in the animal hospital about a dozen times where the pound had picked him up off the street. His name was Gregor at the time, and I think Tom was his owner. And I don't know what happened. You know, what the story was for the time that him and his first owner were together. I never asked the story, and it just doesn't matter. The fact is, Sam's here, and buddy got to see that Sam, after he'd been with me for a time, and remember when he came up to him and he said hello to him, and Sam wouldn't even really look at him. It was interesting. So I don't blame the other dude who was the other owner. Not at all. I don't know what happened. Sam and I didn't get along very good for a while when I first got him either. Juanita took him. She kept him for about 6 months, and she kept him on a chain or in the back of a car, and so he sort of learned that the back seat of the car was home. That was like a doghouse for him. We went out to High River, and when I was off on the saw bike on to town, he toured out on the highway worried that I was gone and he wanted to go with me. And somebody picked him up, took him home, and I got back and there was no Sam dog to be found. If you've ever seen me panic, especially when I'm in a strange town, you know, 8 or 9 hours down the road from where Sam knows his home, so there's not really anywhere that he could go that would be you know, somewhere to call home or findable. And so I went into town to the police station right away, told them who I was and that I was missing a beautiful Lab Shepherd Rottweiler cross, nice boy, neutered, and they gave me a phone number and said, call these people, they have your dog. And within a couple of hours, Sam and I were reunited, and when I got there to where he was, I was in tears, and the people were looking at me like, better not look like the dog's scared of you or anything like that, or else you're not getting your dog back. So anyway, they would have been happy to keep him, but away she goes. So anyway, the bear dog and I made the trip back from High River. We also went out to Manning, Alberta one time, way up in the north, 3 days of driving. He's been to Lethbridge and back with me, and on August 8th last year, 2009, he got under the front wheel of the truck in the yard when I moved it about 6 feet and squashed his hip pretty bad. His right rear leg will never be the same, and that's the slowing down of the bear dog. I was already having to assist him with lifts into the truck, but now it's a lot more difficult for him. And I worry that his time with me will be shortened over this, but anyway, we're going to put these words down, and, you know, I know one day coming down the road here I'll be in tears and I'll be looking at this video myself more than anybody. But this is the bear dog. And in Nelson, everybody knows Sam. Everybody knows the teddy bear. He's my grandpa bear. And dogs don't come any finer than this, and it takes a lot of years for them to become this. You notice he doesn't wear a collar. We don't consider a leash. It's been that way for pretty well ever. You know, from the time he was a couple years old, there's no point for a collar. He doesn't need to be a chained up creature. He's not a slave. My life revolves around him. You I wouldn't take a job if the bear couldn't be there. You've got to be able to hang out and have yourself a blanket, and, you know, like at the transmission shop. He had a spot in the back by the toolbox, and the bear would just hang out. And they all loved the bear. A Sammy dog. But anyway, there's some words on the teddy bear, and hope that it recorded well.